my tube on the computer. I apologize. I'm a little late. So, yeah. And I see it's starting on tube now. So, I guess I go hello again. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm out in the wilderness here, and yeah. But I hope you can see me clear. So, I'm sorry, I'm just... Hi, Jared. I'm having technical issues here. Do you see me clear, or am I being crackly and all of that? Because again, so I hope you're all seeing me clear. Hi, Jackie. So yeah, welcome back to my new series, Rune Weaving with Großmutter Teich. Stay for tea and stories. And with this said, today I have a nice cup of rose tea. Yes, rose petal tea. That's right. Cheers. Or skål. So what did I want to talk today is I find that very important because it happened to me and I know it happened to others and it will happen again. That's why I try to prevent the mistakes that I made, right? Because they can be damaging. So today I want to share the stories when I first experimented with the cause and the effect of energy work. So, and it doesn't matter what kind of energy work, right? If you use with candles, if you do a spell, if you do healing work, it's all energy work. Everything just has a different name, but it's the same elephant, right? So, yeah, I think that's important. And with this set, I was a little late because I did lady things, and then I decided to cut myself into the foot, right on the vein. But I'm good now. I chewed some plantain and shoved it on there, so it's helping now. So if you do girl stuff, like with razors, just don't cut your vein like I did today. Yay. Which is funny. Not funny, but with this whole week or the past weeks, like it was very different, very weird, in a good weird. You might think bad shit is still happening out there, but it feels like yeah, the chaos is cleaning up, you know what I'm saying? So, and this actually fits perfectly with the stories today I want to say tell, and the rosehip tea, which really gives you this warm feeling, this relaxing warm feeling, you know, like a little hug, like a little love hug. um, and with the rose, of course, it's mostly about love. And sorry, I'm sitting outside and I'm smelling like a blood donor bank buffet for the mosquitoes here right now. Yes, and I slapped mosquitoes. So where was I? Rune petals. Yeah, they're very warm. They give you a very warm feeling. I mean, I have to warn you, if you drink the tea of dried rosehip leaves, don't expect that rose feeling. Hi, Alexis. And hi. So yeah, very calming. It's all about love. And even if you just have to give yourself a little love, because that's most important, right? We forget about this. We nourish everyone around us at times, and then we forget about ourselves. So the rose petal tea will help like this. But what I was saying is, don't expect the rosary taste of it. It's everything but. And besides that, it has a lot of vitamin C. You know, you won't think that, but it's true. So it's good for colds. But make sure if you get them homegrown and not the one, you know, the perfumed and sprayed rose petals in the stores. So while I'm fighting here with mosquitoes, don't mind me. Um, so yeah, how when I started looking into all of this, right? When I was looking, like I shared my story, I was looking, but I didn't know what. And then um, I wasn't even really looking. I discovered my gift. I discovered it by coincidence, doing meditations and doing a meditation with someone who asked me to do a meditation with him or to show him how to calm his mind. And before I knew, I was in his meditation and I saw everything he did. And we figured that out after a while. And so with this said, I experienced that I was actually traveling, doing a journey and not meditating anymore, right? So yeah, and with this said, I felt all nice and mighty. Oh, I can help, I can help, I can do this, because in these journeys I received messages or feelings more most likely, and I was able to give advice. And that was in the very, very beginning. So and yeah, and I felt all like that in a bag of chips. And I'm like, oh, I can do that with everyone now. So I did. Hey, I can do that. You want to try? You want to try? I didn't even ask, do you need that or not, right? I just did it. So, and all went well. You know, it wasn't that I hurt anyone. No, they felt great. And after a while, I really felt weird. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I felt tired. I felt angry. Ouch. I felt angry, tired, lost, depressed. And then the next day I was all hyperactive again. And it really drained me. It really drained me. I couldn't sort all these feelings out anymore. So, yeah, I talked to a friend, and then I was, well, what do you for the grounding? I'm like, I do what? I who? Yeah, and how do you release? I'm like, I do what? So I had no idea. I had no idea. And this is how I learned it. Mind you, in between I got up, I say, hold on, I gotta get me something to drink and all, right? So leaving the energy unattended and all of the good stuff. So finally I figured it out, you know, not only the incense, but also doing meditation. And that's why it's very, very important that if you approach any kind of energy work, that you do all of this, what I didn't do. So, first of all, know what you're doing and why you are doing it. Just don't go out and say, oh, I'm going to try this. This is cool. Because I was that idiot sandwich doing that, even though I meant well, obviously, but had no idea. Yum. So, and you really have to know what you're doing. You have to be prepared, right? When it doesn't matter what you do, you can use your candles or whatever you use to do energy work. It doesn't matter, right? And sorry. So prepare yourself that you go in with the intention of what you're doing, right? And then also learn a bit before you go for the big stuff. Start with a visualization, with the breathing technique. Start from the very beginning. And I'm talking about that in my book too, right? Because I didn't do that. So I'm explaining the whole procedure of breathing, relaxing, visualization, because this is all part of it. especially if you want to work with runes, you really have to be aware, you have to be in control, and learning the visualization, you you learn how to control the energy. This is very important. So no matter what you do, if you want to work with runes or anything else, so then of course the obviously harm no one, right? Don't go out hurting people, or I'm gonna wish him a 3 week long diarrhea or something, or worse. Meh. Okay, great example, but you know what I mean, right? You don't harm anyone because you're putting out the energy, and that energy will eventually come back. I had some arguments with some. No, that's not true. It doesn't come back. Yes, it is true, because that is the law. It is it's an universal law. Call it universal law, call it energy law, call it the atom law, call it whatever. It just, it's the mirror. It reflects you, right? It's the magnet. So yeah, and I had some trying to harm me in the past, which I find very silly, because whatever. But yeah, and then it's important to ground, to connect, and always connect, protect. So it doesn't matter. You can choose how you approaching this, right? Some like a soul circle, some visualize a fire, some whatever, put up candles or draw symbols, their own little sigils, right? Um, so it really doesn't matter, but you need to know your intention for it to work. And then, which I find also very important after you've gone through the first steps, right? Um, I always recommend to deal with your issues first that you have, because you might run into issues having your energy flow into, not flow into the person, that sounds so possessed, but you might bring it across, in especially in a healing session. So yeah, so that's very, very important. And also, if you read something and it sounds all cool, but you have this gut feeling it doesn't feel right, or even while you're preparing for it and it doesn't feel right, then it isn't right. Then just don't do it. Just don't do it. And whatever you do, come up with your own, like spells, the wording, you know, the singing, the chanting, even with the runes. Write your own. Write your own. Learn to trust you. And like, please don't go on Google and look for spells. Please don't do that. I tell you this short little story as well. Um, like when I thought I'm all of that, um, I'm like, yeah, okay, cutting cords, cutting cords. I've heard about this is cool. Who was it? Kali, yeah, Kali. She is a witch goddess, and yeah, let's just call her. She has enough hands and knives, right? Just bring her in. I didn't know nothing about this woman, goddess spirit, and and then, okay, we need a spell. I don't know how to write a spell, so I Googled one. And then in a language I didn't understand, I just blasted. It was to cut cords, so it must have been right because Google said so, right? I mean, let me tell you, all hell broke loose, and there were two screaming women sitting in my living room, me and my friend. So, yeah, be mindful with this, learn about it, um, and make yourself very familiar with what you are about to do, and learn to control the energy. And this is how I'm gonna lose my living shit here in a second with all these things. um okay, that didn't belong to the program, but I'm allowed to cuss. I'm a Großmutter. So yeah, um I found that very important. So, and with this said, I would like to read a little bit about Thurisas, the protection rune. And there's thunder. Did you just hear that? Because it likes to go with Thor, and it started hammering up there. That's funny. Ha ha. Um, so let me look. Great. I can find it. I'll find it anytime now. Yeah, because I didn't have time to prepare. So where's my chapter? 37. All right. So, okay. All right. You ready? That's chapter 8 of my book. Thuridus is a fire rune. She carries the energy of the giants, the forces behind natural disasters. Among the gods, Thor is the only one who can control them. If you call upon the rune, be aware you cannot stop her from doing what you ask. And that's about the control of the energy again, right? But there are 2 to 3 runes where you can't stop them. But I'm talking about this in my book too, because that's something I had to learn the hard way too. These runes, do you hear that? I don't know if you can hear the thunder. Hi. Yeah, I put them out and they didn't stop until it was done. And I was uncomfortable. I was weaseling. I was like, please stop. I can't anymore. No, you asked for this. So go. And I mean that in a good way, even though it really doesn't feel good at that moment. So the great giant is as old as wise as time itself. The forefather of the giants was Ymir. The first god slew the hostile giant and created the world from his body. His eyes became the foundation of rocks and mountains. His blood is found in the salt of the oceans. From his body they shaped the earth, and from his backbone the connection between the realms of the goddess here, ow, and the sky. To fill the world with growing things, they used his skin and hair. His wild heart beat deep within the earth in the sea of fire, and his brain became the clouds. The power of the giants lives on in Thuridus, powerful, destructive, and full of drive. The energy that Urus can no longer hold is discharged into Thuridus. So, you know, for me, when I do readings, they tell me a story, and for me, every rune builds the foundation for the next rune. So she's a kind of obstacle runes, but not in a negative way. Thuridus is a thorn. What do thorn bushes, hedges do? They create separation, restriction, protection, and boundaries. Thorns are plants' natural defense to guard its fruit. Consider what Thuridus can do for you. Just hinting this out here. But again, don't start working with runes if you're not familiar in controlling energy and visualization, and to make yourself familiar with runes as well, right? Yeah, this rune calls for letting go of the old and confronts you with your own reflection. Here we go again with the energy, right? Do not assume obstacles or confrontations are negative or destructive. Sometimes we must learn the hard way. And I did, trust me. We repeat the same mistakes until something changes. Destruction can be necessary to make room for new. Chaos often restores balance. She's a powerful protection rune. Thuridus lends you the strength of the giants and Thor. Use it wisely and not for selfish ends. She will also help you develop your spiritual gifts. So stay humble. Because she is a thorn, she pokes like the rose. She will show you through small or large breaks what needs your attention, what must you face, which mistakes are you repeating. When Thuri thus pokes you, follow the thorn like a pointing arrow and follow the discomfort. She will lead you. She will also mirror you. A major aspect of this inner work is patience, and she will teach it. And she can also be a warning. So, and this goes pretty much with the energy work I did, right? This was what brought me to telling you about Thuridas. So, and talking about energy and all of that, for crying out loud. I'm sorry, I just can't take it. I can't. Like I said in the beginning, the energies are lately very weird in a good way. You just feel it's getting cleaned up. Even you think, oh shit, this cannot get worse. It will get worse. It will, trust me, it will get worse before it gets better. That's just how things roll, right? What am I located in the Highlands? No, I wish I would be located in the Highlands very much. Trust me. I would love that. That's where my heart is, my soul is. I've been there to visit many times, and I hope I can go again. But yeah. Oh, you are. Oh, lucky you. So how did you experience the past weeks, energy wise, or in your life in general? What's been going on? Do you feel like you don't know if you're coming or going? Because that's pretty much how I felt. I mean, a lot to do, lots going on in a good way, but then it's also like, I want to sleep 3 weeks now, please. Can we do that? So yeah, so I was wondering how you guys experienced your last week, so to speak, since we're talking about energies. Where in the Highlands are you? Yeah, I really don't have a disease. I have mosquitoes. And that's another thing. They're really bad this year. Like, they don't care for nothing anymore. Not for lavender, not for peppermint, not for lemon. They really don't care about nothing. But we had a lot of rain too, to be fair. So I'm not putting out here mosquito theory, conspiracy. It's just because we had a lot of rain here. So I don't know if anyone wants to share this story with me, how they experienced the last week's ouchie. So let me go through the chatty chat here, because for some reason I'm missing half of the chat. Darn it. Oh no, live chat. I'm in the wrong chat. So yeah, if you want, you can share your stories with me. How do you experience the last week? My chat is not moving. I'm not sure if no one wants to share or if this is my connection here. So yeah. If it's my connection, then I apologize. So, and yeah, and if you want to learn a little more, you can get my book. It's on Amazon in German and in English. I shared everything in there what I thought is important and how I learned. So yeah, And in about 2 weeks, I will be back. I'm really sorry nothing is moving here, so I will sign out now because I'm not sure what's happening here. So, but you can leave me a comment if you wish, if you like, and if you have questions, you can always, yeah, ask me questions. And yeah, other than that, I'm just pretty busy trying to get my foundation going so I can do retreats and other good stuff. We'll see what happens with this. So I thank you all so much for coming, and I will see you again in 2 weeks with the next subject. Okay, Uncle, I'm going. So I got the sign. Gotta go because it's gonna pour here in a second. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for coming and staying for tea and stories. And I hope, yeah, try out the rose petals and other teas that I introduce because they're good for you and they're tasty as well. So, yeah, now I'm